Hey, good morning, everybody. So I was just going through my daily morning 10 or 15 minute flow or routine. And throughout that, thinking that, Mother's Day today, Father's Day is coming up, I actually wanted to create a video that's just as much for the parents as it is for the students. The students remind me most weeks that I'm getting older. I feel that. Many students will remind me that I'm older than some of the parents now. And so I really wanted to go through this flow and routine to share with not just the parents, but with the students, how we can maintain a healthy spine under the premise that we're only as old as the health of our spine. And a little bit of context here is I'm nearly 40 years old, and at 30 years old, after years of competitive sports in college and ski seasons in France and physically getting after it in the activities I enjoyed pursuing, I had back surgery at the age of 30. And so 9 or 10 years later now, there's a lot of work I do daily to help not just maintain, manage, but I want to feel better. We all want to feel more youthful. And I really enjoy, rock climbing, surfing, soccer, swimming, just playing around and feeling at ease within my body. So I'd like to share with you today, it's about a 10 or 15 minute flow once we break it down into the exercises. This video might be a little bit longer just as I'm explaining some of the things that I'm going through these exercises. But students, if you are watching this, I would love for you to share this with your parents. Maybe this is a great time to pause the video and see if they're in a good mindset or space or time to do this flow with you now. I would recommend this being more of an individual practice daily, first thing in the morning to align the spine and prepare for the day, and also last thing at night, even if it's just the first 5 minutes of these types of exercises to align the spine and allow us to settle a little bit quicker as we're falling asleep in the evening. So this has really helped me over the last few years. I would say the first 6 or 7 years post back surgery, it wasn't great. It was a bit of a mess, and I was uncomfortable a lot of the time, and yoga's really helped. Being in the ocean, and you think surfing would be quite invasive, but it's actually quite nice and calming just to be in the water and jump off the surfboard and just float, so that's been great. But these exercises over the last few years have been a game changer, and with Mother's Day today and Father's Day coming up on, I think it's June 20th, I'm also making this video for my parents, because if I didn't, they probably wouldn't do these exercises either. So Mum and Dad, a shout out to you guys, and thank you for supporting me through all the things I loved growing up. And this is me trying to say, I love you, and I'm trying to pass back some of the things that I've learned to help you guys as my parents are now 70-ish. My mum's gonna not be happy with that, but I would like them to be as healthy, as happy as they can during their retiring years. So let's get started. You may be approaching this video now after a busy day, or you've just woken up, but I'd like to spend the first minute or so just to calm our body and mind. So please find a comfortable position, laying down on your back. And as you physically start to settle, and find that stillness and calmness. The challenge here, maybe the most challenging part of this exercise today, is to allow the mind to be calm and still. Throughout this whole flow, we're going to always inhale through our nose. Slowing down our breath. So hopefully about 5.5 to 6 breaths per minute. If you're laying here and thinking, Mr. Champion, I can't do this, can't find stillness. You found stillness in your body. I promise you your mind will catch up within a minute of slowing down your breath. Feeling the back of your head and shoulders sinking into the ground. allowing your fingers to become still and your feet to become still. Once we find that stillness, we're going to go through 3 main parts of this flow, beginning with work on our front, then on our back, and then in somewhat of a downward dog flow position. So once you've found that stillness and calmness, please roll over and join me in tabletop position. In tabletop, the students know that we're spreading our fingers out nice and wide with a slight outward rotation of the hands, bringing your shoulders forward to stack above your elbows and your wrists. The slightest bend in your elbow for support and strength, relaxing the back of your neck and lifting your belly button up slightly. This is a nice, stable tabletop position. You can start to swing your hips from left to right, just to find a little bit of flow, a little bit of a wave motion. And we're going to start with a little bit of cat and dog, rounding our back into cat, tucking your chin towards your chest, lifting up that belly button, and extending into dog. We don't need to look up too far here. Keep your neck quite neutral, lifting up that tailbone as if you have a tail. And exhale, cat, arcing your back like a cat that's scared to make itself look a little bit bigger. And dog. If this feels good for you and you're finding a little bit more motion through your cat and your dog, we're going to try and stabilize each level. So if we've rounded into cat, we're going to move one vertebrae at a time, starting with our tail, as we round and arc the back more into dog. And then once we're in dog, starting with the head first, slowly start to tuck your chin as you start to press up through your upper back and your mid back, and then tucking your tail, squeezing your hips as if you could look into your own belly button, and coming back to neutral. From this flow, keeping your tabletop arms, bring your knees in slightly, engaging through your arms and through your right knee into the ground, just slowly, without moving anything else, bringing your left knee off the ground, and slow motion, send that left leg and heel back to the wall behind you. Bringing that knee slowly up towards your chin, not too far, just wherever it feels comfortable, pressing up through those arms. Find that engagement and extend that leg back once more behind you. Nice and strong in that position. I'm asking you to move slow so that we can keep our hips aligned. And now we're going to transition over to bringing that right knee off the ground. So really ground down through that left knee, keeping your arms and neck nice and supported. Send that right leg back out behind you. If it feels good to do a few ankle rotations in this position, clockwise and counterclockwise. And then bring that knee up and through, just to where's comfortable. Press up through the arms. Find that extra little tuck, tucking your chin down towards your chest a little ways, and then extend that leg back out behind you. All right, from this position, we're actually going to lay our belly and chest down to the ground. For a moment, we're just going to rest our chin, arms down by the side. Knees and toes are nearly together. Maybe there's an inch or two between the toes and the knees. And we're going to do a hamstring curl, lifting our heel up towards our sit bones. But what I'd like you to do is tuck your fingertips underneath the blades of your hip bones. Feels like the outside edge of a spoon. And we're trying to keep these spoon edges grounded. So as you took your left heel up to the sky, engaging your hamstring, make sure we're grounded right here underneath the left hip. It's not lifting off the ground. I'm going to switch to the right hip, controlling the speed on the way down. Left hamstring, this is your hamstring here behind the upper thigh, behind the longest bone in the body, the femur. In the back we have our hamstrings, in the front we have our quadriceps. Little engagement of the glute muscles and the hamstrings. Bring your head to relax on one side or the other. This time both legs come up. Make sure that both spoon edges of the hip bones are connected to the ground. And we're slowly going to do windshield wipers. At this point you can make the knees a little bit wider. And you're controlling the speed from side to side. Gravity is not allowing us to fall. Your muscles are controlling the speed. Trying to keep both hips grounded. You can put your fingertips back there to check. If one hip's coming off the ground, you can pause at that position where both hips are grounded. Take a nice big inhale and exhale. As your hips remain grounded, you might find you can bring your feet a little bit over further to one side. All right, we're going to roll over onto the back. And I wrote down this flow because I already went through this earlier this morning, and that's why I thought to make a video out of it. Next up, we are going to do, on our back position, widen your feet and your knees. And we're actually going to rotate through the same windshield wiper position, but from our back, providing some lower lumbar spinal mobility. So in our lower back from side to side. This was one of the first exercises that started to give me a little bit of relief after some lower back surgery 9 or 10 years ago. And bring your awareness back to your nice slow breath, always inhaling through the nose. And your exhale can be through the nose or the mouth. Slowing down to 5.5 to 6 breaths per minute. Next up is a little bit of windshield wipers, but with the arm. So working more the cervical and thoracic part of the spine. We're going to interlace our fingers, but leave your pointy fingers pointing up to the ceiling. Your eyesight is going to follow your thumbs. So as you start to bring your arms over to the right side, your eyesight follows. And then over to the left. And your hips, knees and feet are staying still. Even though you're focusing on something else here, like following your eyesight to your thumbs, inhale through your nose. And keep your breath nice and long. All right. Next up, we're going to do a nice side twist from side to side. So I'm going to roll and face towards you guys on the camera. I'm going to stack my shoulders, my hands, my knees and my feet are all stacked. And once we rotate, we're going to lift. So I'm laying on my right side here. I'm going to lift up my left arm and I'm going to follow my left hand with my eyesight as it comes to rest on the ground behind me. If you feel like that left shoulder won't ground and you can't quite touch, maybe your left knee is starting to come up off the right knee, that's okay. Just stretch. Just be open, what feels comfortable, but we're going to breathe into it. So we're going to ground the left knee back to the right knee, and we're going to ground the left shoulder. So nice big inhale and nice exhale. 2 or 3 long inhales in this position, and that shushing sound in the exhale helps to calm our nervous system and helps us to exhale all the air out of our lungs, which if we haven't exhaled to our fullest extent, we're holding on to some toxic air in our lungs if we're just breathing quickly and shallowly. That's why we're trying to slow down our breath and lengthen our breath. So try a couple more long inhales and long exhales. Allowing that left shoulder to come down to the ground behind you. Allowing that left knee to fall a little bit closer to the right knee. One more breath, inhale. All right, and then we come back to that starting position. Take another breath. Using both hands and your feet and knees to press back up into a neutral position. You might just want to shake your legs for a second. It's a nice time to actually press our elbows down into the ground and squeezing our scapulars, our shoulder blades behind us together. Bringing your arms up to the ceiling, and you might just feel that provides that little bit of a relief from that side twist. And now we're going to do the same side twist over to the other side. So hands stack, knees and feet stack. And once you feel comfortable, nice big inhale and exhale. Opening up your chest. Keeping your right knee stacked on top of the left, right foot stacked on top of the left. And now we're going to try and ground that right shoulder and try and keep that right knee comfortably stacked on top of the left. 3 nice round cycles of breath. Take that extra breath if you feel like you need it. We're going to come back into the starting position. Take a breath. And come back to center. Feel supported by your feet. Relax those arms. And again, one more inhale, reach up. Reach those arms up to the sky. Exhale, elbows come down to the ground and squeeze those shoulder blades behind you. It's about at this level in your mid to upper back. One more nice extra stretch from this position. Interlace all your fingers. Inhale. And as you exhale, nice full exhale as you slowly tick-tock your arms to overhead and your thumbs will reach the ground. Nice big full body stretch here from the tippy toes to your fingertips. One last flow on the back. Bring your hands down for support. We're slowly going to bring one knee up, both knees up, and feel like you're really grounded and connected through the backs of your hips. From this position, we're going to rotate our ankles. So imagine that your big toe is a crayon and you're drawing big circles on the wall in front of you. Clockwise and counterclockwise. Engaging here fully through the core, so you can feel if your core and your belly is engaged here. It's not your legs holding you up. Your hip flexors run deep, and it's deep into your core where we're holding our knees up. And from this position, we're going to count to 12. In that 12 count, we're going to tap our big toe down to the ground, one leg at a time. So it looks like this, slow motion. Left big toe comes down and taps, comes back up. And then the right big toe comes down and taps, then comes back up. So here we go, starting with the left foot, slow motion, all that work coming from the core. Gravity is not doing any of this work for us. That's 1. Right foot, big toe, tap, come back up slowly, 2. 3. 4. 5. Refrain from going faster, even though you feel like your core's switching on and feeling engaged. 6. The slow work is what's important here. 7. Resisting against gravity. 8. 9. 3 left. 10. Keep it nice and slow and controlled. 11. And 12. When you feel comfortable, bring all of your toes back down to the ground. Give your knees a little shake from side to side. And the last part on our back before we move into our last part of the flow, which is more of a down dog position. The last part on our back here is we're going to bring our feet up towards our sitting bones, towards our hips. A nice little space between the knees and the feet. Can you touch your ankles with your fingertips? And from that position, we're going to start to firstly only lift our hips up, and we're going to try and tilt our hips back towards our face. Imagine that your hips are a big cereal bowl, and we're actually going to bring that cereal bowl slightly up off the ground and tilt that cereal bowl back towards us. So just to start with, we're lifting those hips up and tilting the hips towards us, lowering back down. Think of it like the initial start of a wave, the wave starting from our coccyx, which is our tailbone. We're just starting to engage ourselves and get ready for a mini half back bridge. So we're lifting up with our tailbone first, opening up the hips, and then we're going to keep that roll, keep that wave going until we can start to put our shoulders underneath us. At the minute my hands are flat down on the ground, I'm going to take a nice big inhale, lift up, fill my belly with air, and exhale, press those hips up a little bit higher. If you can find comfort in interlacing your fingers behind you at this point, we can get an extra shoulder stretch. At the same time, we're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. Every time, nice big inhale, fill your belly with air, nice big exhale, engaging through your gluteus muscles, your hamstrings and quads are both working. And if you feel like you can get a little bit deeper into this position, we're going to bring our feet a little bit closer to our shoulders. And we're going to lower down from the upper back to the mid back, to our lower back, and then our tailbone is the last thing to ground. Shake off those legs a little bit. I'd just like to explain before we get into our last little flow with the downward dog flow is that these subtle core exercises on our front, on our back, first thing in the morning and last thing at night, they improve day after day after day. So please reflect on how you're feeling now, whether this feels just a nice, calm, relaxing flow, and you're having some space to breathe and be still and calm, or there's a bit of tension there, or a little tightness, stiffness, soreness. If those parts are there, some of these flows day after day after day will, I hope, help you find some more ease and comfort and mobility and strength. So out of these exercises that we're showing you today, please choose what best serves you, without overdoing it, without thinking, oh, I can do this and I'm just going to jump to the most difficult, or extend in my cat-dog position more than I should. Please start off nice and slowly and build on this day by day, layer by layer, and hopefully this becomes part of many of our daily routines. So last little flow today from downward dog and half pigeon, and we'll finish class like we began with just finding stillness on our mat at the end. So downward facing dog, we're actually going to start back in our tabletop position, go through 2 flows of your cat and dog. That's 1. 1 more cat and dog. That's 2. Find yourself in the dog position, and from here find your tippy toes. Make sure your fingertips are spread nice and wide. Find that engagement with your shoulders stacked, but a slight bend in your elbows. As you're in that dog position, we're trying to keep this angle between our quadriceps and our belly nice and small. We're not trying to open up this position, which would be cat. We're trying to keep that position a little more closed in downward facing dog. So from dog, this is when we can push up and just lift our knees up for a second, keep that engagement, and it's absolutely normal to have a big bend in your knees right here to begin with. The progression would be slowly to start to lengthen those legs, keeping that angle nice and closed in here between the quads and the belly. Because if we open it up too much, we're putting a lot more stretch into the lower back, the glutes and the hamstrings, and we want to work into that slowly. So the students and I have been walking our dog. As you take a slight bend in one knee, it allows you to lengthen and straighten the back of the opposite leg. Allow the back of your neck to be relaxed so that your ears are between your elbows. You can walk the dog as long as you like, but every now and again, find some stillness. As you take a big inhale, lift those hips a bit higher to the sky and send them backwards. Imagine where the wall and the ceiling meet behind you at a 45-degree angle. So it's almost like we have a nice straighter line from our wrists, elbows, and shoulders to our hips. And as you exhale, try and allow your ankles to go and just sink a little bit closer to the ground. From this position, if you feel ready and comfortable, we're going to send our left ankle high to the sky for 3-legged dog. Take a breath here. Lift that ankle a little bit higher. Allow your right ankle to come a little bit closer to the ground and bring it back down. And inhale and a full exhale as we send our right ankle high to the sky. And take a bend in those knees. Come back to tabletop. One more cat dog. And I want to thank you for your patience and your calmness and stillness in this practice. I hope you feel some benefits from this flow, and I know the more that I do it, the more time I spend, it enhances the rest of my life, whether it's my calmness, stillness, and patience, whether it's my warm-ups before any physical activities. And I invite you to spend the last minute or two where we started, laying down on your back. But to take a full Shavasana, we would extend our legs and allow the big toes to fall outside of the line of the ankles. Your palms will be facing up to the sky with the backs of your hands resting into the ground. And once again, find that calmness and stillness in your body. And your mind will catch up. You will find that stillness. Nice long inhales through your nose. And nice long exhales. In the mornings, this allows me to bring some purpose and intention to my day as I'm starting to align my schedule and all the things that I'm looking forward to or have to do for the day. And then at nighttime, it really provides me a platform to unwind, to allow my body and spine to feel connected and consciously relaxed before I can fall asleep. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Father's Day in a month or so. Mom and Dad, I hope you're still here. And as I end this video, you may be staying in this position for a little bit longer.